With one holiday over, the big one is on the way. Christmas is just a few days away. Now you're thinking presents, family, and friends, but what about safety? We've got some warning and some tips for you, plus some ways you can help others and some holiday cheer to get you in the mood on today's Triad Perspectives. I'm your host, Sandra Hughes. Now, while you're busy thinking about plans for the holiday, the Greensboro Police Department is thinking about your safety. My guest is the Chief of Police, Chief Wayne Scott. It's good to see you again today.
Good to see you, ma'am.
I can tell you right now, he's a great guy.
Thank you.
You are welcome. When we say holiday and safety, they sort of go together, don't they?
Obviously. It's a time of the year when people are out, usually out past dark because it's getting dark earlier, and they've got their mind on those holidays and those gifts. And, the biggest tip for safety is pay attention to your surroundings. Always pay attention. And unfortunately, we know that there are people on the other side of the game that are going to try to take advantage of families being out. So can't say it enough. When you're out shopping, enjoy the community. We have a great community here. We have great shopping outlets, but always pay attention to your surroundings. That's the number one thing we tell folks.
And one thing you told me is that don't leave your presents laying on the seat of the car when you go into another store.
Absolutely. We've been saying that for years, but the truth is burglars or even people just breaking in cars, they're opportunists. They're looking for what's easy. And let's not make it easy for them. Let's take those things. Take your purse if you have a purse with you. If you have electronics, put it in the trunk so that at least you're not that victim.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are doing online shopping now,
right?
Which may be a little safer, maybe.
Actually, I think it's a lot safer if you use good precautions. We recommend that protect your identity. That's one of the fastest growing crimes across the country is identity theft. But if you only go to reputable websites, if you use one credit card so that you can keep track of those bills, and make sure that if it looks a little suspicious, even if it's a great deal, move on. Yes.
It is. That's right. I tell my grandchildren that all the time. If you have any question, get away from it. Let's move on and talk about your neighborhood-oriented policing. That sounds like a big thing that you're working on.
It is. It's something the department's been working on for, almost 2 years now. It was the coming together of a couple of different projects for the department. One, looking at a staffing study. Do we have the right people? And do we have them in the right place geographically? And I'm very proud to tell you that, over the last 18 months we've been implementing it, and we've seen a great deal of success.
Now what does it mean exactly?
So we really look at how we police, our philosophy around police, which is problem solving. Here in Greensboro, we believe it's important that we don't only respond to calls, because that doesn't fix our problems.
Right.
So we train our officers to be problem solvers. And secondly, do we have the right number of people at the right time of the day to best use our resources? And we've made a great deal of progress in both those areas. One, we've trained our entire organization about problem solving. And you know what the biggest thing about problem solving is? Listening for the problem.
That's exactly right.
It's not always evident. Mm-hmm. So how do we approach that? And so we've done some very progressive things, I believe. We created a street crimes unit to look at those issues that are really hitting people at home. People talk about gangs and are gangs a problem in Greensboro. We address the crime. We look at, are they gang affiliated, but really we're looking at what affects your quality of life. So that unit's been very effective to bring in security. Operationally, we just launched our motorcycle enforcement unit, which is our last operational piece. And people go, well, traffic enforcement, why is that a big deal? 8 out of 10 complaints in Greensboro are traffic related.
Oh my.
All of us get affected by traffic.
Oh yes.
So we decided to go back to something that had worked in the past for us, which is motorcycle enforcement, a very visible arm of policing. And we've gotten a great response from the community. Very pleased with that.
So that's good. I'm seeing here that you're going to be moving in the future.
We are. We've got some good things that are coming forth, especially in 2017. Probably 4, maybe even 5 years ago, the city was able to acquire a new headquarters building for us.
Oh my.
We were able to move into an existing building downtown, but we have I'll use the word struggle to try to financially get it in place. Well, I'm happy to tell you that through some resource management with the city, through some creative movement, we'll be moving into the new police headquarters at Police Plaza, taking us out of the old Melvin Municipal Building. So hopefully in about 9 months, our chief's office, our professional standards, all the things that our recruitment will all be centralized in our downtown in one spot. So it's better for the community, and quite honestly, it's good to have our police department together.
Now help me see where that's going to be.
If you're familiar with the Melvin Municipal Building, the
Yes.
old police department, if you walk right out the front door and over to what used to be the IRS building, we bought the building from the IRS.
Yes.
And we had to totally rehab the building. It was built in the 70s and had some challenges we had to go through. But it's totally been rehabbed. We will be occupying 3 out of the 4 floors, and it'll be a one-stop shop for a lot of police services. So I'm really excited for that.
That is wonderful. Well, you know, I am proud to do your program called Building Bridges.
Yes.
And I am learning more in my old age than I ever thought about the police department. You know, all of the things with police and residents and police in the schools. And
Right.
there's so many until I can't name them all. And I just wish there was some way that we could make the citizens know about all of those opportunities.
We're working on that. So about a year ago, we opened the Office of Community Engagement. We tried to bring all that under one umbrella for the city, for the police department. And one of the things you're going to see early in 2017 is the launch of the Office of Community Engagement website.
Oh.
Particularly proud of this because we went outside our city system. Unfortunately, the city of Greensboro, like most cities, we're a little bit behind in technology. So we were able to get permission from the city manager. We went out and created a very user-friendly website that we hope to launch in the first quarter that will bring a lot of what you just said, because we go to community meetings and we hear the same thing. Why don't you try this? And we're like, well, we've been doing that for 6 years. Or this is how you can get plugged in to become part of that. You know, our Citizen Academy, I know you've done a show for us with
Yes.
that. A lot of people say, how do I become part of that? And so we want to get that message out in a way that people can understand it and connect with us better, because at the end of the day, knowing about us, that transparency, that word we use all the time, is good for us and good for our community.
Yeah, well, I love the fact that you know, people don't know it, but you're in the community.
Yes.
You're not opposed to the community.
Absolutely.
You're actually there.
I start a majority of the times that I have an opportunity to speak, I start with one line. I'll go, remember when you see that police officer, we are part of your community. And that's important to us. It's very important.
We were talking the other day, excuse my coughing.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Asthma kills me. But, you know, we in one of the shows we did, we said, you live here in this neighborhood, you have children, you go to the grocery store, you go to work. Well, the person living next door to you is a police officer.
Right.
With children, they go to work and they do all the same things that you do.
We do. You know, we see that. We cross paths at church. We cross paths at school. A lot of times, folks don't even realize that our officers are doing a lot of the same civic events. Mm-hmm. One of the things our Office of Community Engagement is trying to do is trying to kind of educate people that a little bit, because you know, there's become this dialogue in our country that police are out there, they're separate. And in
That's
Greensboro, that's not what we want. And we find that we accomplish our work so much better when people understand that we're human like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. So are you feeling good about as your department grows and move on to the community?
Absolutely. I think we've made phenomenal progress over particularly the last year and a half since we started our Office of Community Engagement. But I'm excited to see going forward. You know, we've got some things coming up. Christmas, we do Operation Yuletide every year, where we adopt 100 families, and we've got an outpouring of support, and that just signals to me that people are starting to understand more about the GPD, and that's a good thing.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much, Chief Scott.
Hey, thank you
Good
for
talking to you, and I'll see you downtown for Building Bridges.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we'll take a quick break and come back to tell you about ways you can help others during the holidays. Stay with us.
This is the North Carolina A&T State University Historical Minute. I'm Marilyn Parker. The Dudley Memorial Building houses more stone applications than any other building on A&T's campus. A sweep of 15 stones guide visitors to the main entrance. Built in 1893, the original facility contained a library, an auditorium, and administrative offices. In 1930, a fire led to a reconstruction, and the facility was renamed after A&T's second president, James B. Dudley. Today, the building is home to the Maddie Reed African Heritage and H.C. Taylor Art Galleries, music classrooms, and laboratories. The Dudley Memorial Building is located on the east side of campus, directly behind the statue of the A&T 4 and right across from Dudley Road.
Welcome back. I'm sure you've heard great things about the Salvation Army. They're all true. But do you know how much they serve our community during the holidays? Our guest is Major Don Vick. He's the Salvation Army's commanding officer. Good to see you today.
Good to see you.
I run into you all the time during the holidays because we do some things together. But when the holidays come, what are the kind of things you have to think about and plan for?
Well, it's a big fundraising time for us, for sure, but it's really a big service time as well. We have, back in October, completed applications for over 1,300 families that we will help with the Christmas assistance, and that'll come out to about 2,900 children that we're gathering toys for, doing all together, and invite on the 17th this year, we'll give all that away, and do it again next year. We've been doing that for over 100 years.
Oh, that is incredible. How do you get enough toys for that many children?
Well, a number of sources. We have the program that with Fox 8 Gifts for Kids that we get some toys from. We have offices around town that'll do a party, and instead of giving gifts to each other, they'll bring a toy and they'll give it to us. And then we have companies that just adopt children from what we call our angel tree, where we actually put the name and the details of the child, age and sex and all of that on a card, and they can actually shop for that child, and then so it becomes age and sex appropriate, and so it's a lot of moving parts that we've been doing again for a lot of years.
So how does a family get involved with you? A family that needs help?
Well, we put word out in the schools and then and county assistance offices of families that are in particular need at this time of year, and we encourage them to come apply. And then, of course, there's always some emergency situations, special situations that pop up around this time of year as well.
Do you use a lot of volunteers?
We couldn't do what we do without volunteers. We have to have volunteers, whether it's ringing the bell or helping us in a Christmas program or helping us feed people in the shelter. Volunteers is how we get it all done, really.
Tell me why we as shoppers should pay attention to the people ringing the bells. I mean, I've seen them all of my life, and after you see somebody all your life, you just you don't really see them anymore.
Well, every little donation helps. We did a little study a few years ago and found out the average donation to the kettle is about 50 cents. But that 50 cents for us in Greensboro, we hope will turn out to be $225,000, $250,000 over the season. So
that's incredible.
It's important money, and we have a large budget, but we don't want to miss that money either, and it helps us throughout the year. It's not just at Christmas time, but it helps all year long.
And I've known people who volunteered to ring the bell, and I think that's absolutely fabulous. What would you like to see happen as you go forward with the Salvation Army?
Well, we've been in a real period of growth over the last 3 or 4 years. Our needs, assistance needs have gone up 50% over the last 3 years.
Wow.
We went, 4 years ago, we saw about 8,000 clients. Last year, we saw over 21,000
Oh, my goodness.
In our Greensboro offices. So it's a unfortunate period of growth, and a lot of those people are coming for just direct assistance, which for us means food, emergency shelter, and utilities most of the time. And so that growth, getting our arms around that and meeting those needs has kept us busy.
That's incredible. So how long does a family stay with you on the average?
Well, that's changed over the years. Now we're trying to get them to stay less. Last year we had 300 families come through our shelter program, and fortunately, again, about 2 years ago, when we tried to get that length of time that they're staying with us down and get them immediately into housing, it seems to work better for them. We don't like children to go to school from a homeless shelter for months on end.
Yeah.
That's a picture I see out in my office in the morning, and then again in the afternoon, those school buses pull up. So we try to get them out quick as we can. And over the last couple of years, we've been able to keep those families housed about 98%. Again, about 300 families a year.
And that's a lot of people.
A lot of people, a lot of work.
Now, I was hoping that with the economy changing, that maybe some of that would go away.
Well, it will get better. The folks at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder are the last ones to benefit from a change in the economy, and we know that some things have happened that are better, and I think it will come for those folks as well.
What can we in the community do? What would be 2 or 3 major things we could do that could help you?
Well, one of the things is to engage and volunteer at the Salvation Army. You get a whole lot better picture of what really is going on each and every day, and that's not just at Christmas time. There's plenty to do at Christmas time, but we really need a lot of volunteers and ringing the bell and that kind of thing. And it's a big help to get people aware of what's out there. So awareness is one big thing. And of course, we want them to contribute this time of year. We do about 60% of our fundraising for the whole year in the next 5 weeks, and so that's important for us as well. And then I think also we want people to spread the word of what their experience is. Once in a while, people talk about their bell ringing, and somebody else will say, "Well, I ring the bell too." But if somebody didn't start talking about that, so kind of spreading the awareness of what we do at the Salvation Army would be a big help as well.
So do you have websites and places people can go to find out more?
Yeah, we have a couple of websites of the Salvation Army. You Google Salvation Army Greensboro, and you'll get all that to pop up. We even have a online kettle this year. You can go in on the redkettlereason.org and set up your own web kettle, so you don't have to stand out in the rain and the cold and ring the bell. You can do it online with your friends and family and raise money that way as well. So, so we have active websites, and so if you want to help or just get more informed, you can look up Salvation Army here in Greensboro.
Well, we have a lot of viewers out there, what camera are we on, that I would like for you to just look right at them and tell them how important it is for the Salvation Army to be where it is, what it's doing, and how citizens can help. Go.
We do appreciate the work that goes on in this community. The Salvation Army have great staff that really know what they're doing. So it is important the community comes around us and supports us, not only just financially, but also in their volunteerism. That's a big help as well. So just get involved and really learn about what we do at the Salvation Army. There's many, many avenues of service, and we welcome anyone who wants to come down and help us out.
That was very good. Very good. We're going to cut that out and make it a promo. So let's pass the holiday season. Well, what do you need, say, come January, February?
Well, one of the biggest needs that we have all the time is when we do move a family out of the shelter, is we move them into an apartment. 9 times out of 10, they have nothing except that apartment.
Oh, my.
So we've got to start with furniture. We've got to stop for everything from a mop and a broom to dishes and household items. Those household items, if you think about what it would cost you to set up a household, and we do that 300 times over with families that we serve. That's one of our real burdens, is to household items of any sort whatsoever are a big help. But we have some local clubs and churches that'll take on a family and work that package up. But it numbers in the dozens of different items that are needed to set up households.
Well, I am proud to say that when I lost a relative earlier this year, I called the Salvation Army, and the 2 gentlemen were wonderful. They came out, they moved things out, took them to the Salvation Army, and it was a huge help to me, and obviously a huge help to you too.
Yeah, our thrift stores kind of overlooked sometimes, but about 20 to 25% of everything we take in a thrift store we give away to somebody, families that are in need. If somebody need work boots to go to work, they can get a voucher from one of our caseworkers and do that. And then what people buy from us, we're able to put back in our programs to help feed and shelter people.
Well, I'm so proud of what you do. Thank you for taking time to come and tell us all about it. It's wonderful. Well, after this short break, some of the Greensboro Symphony. Stay with us.
I'm Gabrielle Cook, and this is the A&T Historical Minute. Harrison Auditorium is the largest theater on A&T's campus and sets the stage for a variety of productions.
Built in 1939, Harrison Auditorium is named after former drama department chair Richard Berry Harrison. After spending 8 years at A&T, Harrison was called to Broadway to star in the role of DeLaude in the production of Green Pastures. In 2005, Harrison went through a $4 million renovation, which added 5 bathrooms, expanded the stage, and improved the seating capacity to 963. Harrison Auditorium is home to the nationally ranked A&T theater company, the Richard B. Harrison Players. Its stage is used throughout the year for events such as Aggies and Poets and many other student and local productions.
like holiday music, well, who doesn't, my goodness? The Greensboro Symphony makes sure the Triad hears the absolute best. My guest is the Chief Operating Officer of the Greensboro Symphony. He is Daniel Crupi. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too,
Very
Sandra.
much.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you
me.
for coming. This time of year, we all expect to hear music from the Symphony.
Yes, yeah, it's a busy time of year for us. So
Yeah.
we just finished the opening of our pop season, which was the Texas Tenors. They're sort of a mix of country and classical, but this was a holiday-themed show, so we're really in the thick of it from right before Thanksgiving. So just finished that up. To conclude the holiday season, we have our New Year's Eve concert that we have every year. This year it's a Broadway Pops. But then in between is the Fox 8 Old Dominion holiday concerts that we have in Greensboro and in Burlington. So we're really excited. It's one of our most exciting concerts every year.
See, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize is you play all kinds of music. It's not just on one line.
Exactly right. So we have the classical series, that's something that most people are probably familiar with,
Yes.
Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, all the classics. And a derivative of that is our chamber series that we have. This is for sort of an intimate style performance at UNCG, smaller performing forces and a smaller audience as well, but also classical chamber works. But then, our pop series, we do everything from rock and roll, the Beatles, the Eagles, to jazz, to Broadway, to country.
That's incredible.
It is, yeah. And so
Wow.
there really is something for everyone. And we have a whole education suite as well that sort of touches on all of those various styles of music as well. So
I'm glad you're telling our viewers that, because a lot of people think it's just classical.
that is what most people would associate with the symphony. But our mission as a nonprofit is to serve the community. And the community is very diverse and has a wide array of interests, I think, musically. So we seek to respond to that. So we want to perform, the classics certainly, because it's very important. It's where our entire musical heritage came from. But we want to play what people are interested in seeing as well. So
what about this holiday season? What's special about it?
So the big one this year is the Fox 8 Old Dominion Holiday Concert. That's December 16th at the Greensboro Coliseum. And this is our biggest extravaganza of the year. Thousands of people turn out for it. And it's all for the benefit of the Salvation Army. And obviously a terrific organization, as we just heard from Major Vic, that does tremendous work. And so it's a canned food drive, free admission. You just come, bring canned food for the benefit of Salvation Army, and they raise just about 500,000 cans every year from this
My
concert.
goodness.
Yeah, it's very impressive. And
That
the concert
is.
itself is incredibly diverse, and we seek to engage as many various components of the community as we can. And this year, we're really kind of changing things up. It's a whole new program, all new music. We have some new arrangements from a great Hollywood composer and our own music director, our resident conductor, composed some pieces. He rearranged some popular pieces on the program for our principal trumpet and our principal flautist. We actually have the North Carolina A&C Gospel Choir. They're coming to do quite a few pieces with us, and the First Presbyterian Choir. Nate Alston, who you might recognize, he's a popular singer-actor around here. You might know him from the Barn Dinner Theater. He's going to come and sing some brand new pieces for us as well. So we're really trying to engage as many components of the community as possible.
Good grief. You've got your hands full.
We
then, don't
do,
you?
and I forgot to mention Summit Figure Skating Club. They always do something every year, and we have terrific soloists that have performed in regional competitions that are kind of come in and skate to the music. So yeah, this is going to be a wild one.
This is really sounding wild, I'll tell you. Sounds wonderful, too. Now, can you keep the same musicians for all of these shows, or do you have to change?
We try to. So we have about 80 musicians that contract on a regular basis with the symphony, and they play everything from the classical to the holiday to our pop shows. Obviously, though, musicians have conflicts, and they've got gigs in Winston-Salem and in Raleigh that they need to keep up with as well. So we do substitute quite a bit in and out, but we like to keep people. If they're doing one holiday concert with us, we'd like to keep them for all four to maintain some continuity. So we try and retain as many as possible.
Any opportunities for children to learn to play or play with?
Tons, yeah. We have a whole education suite for 50,000 kids in 4 counties. So we're all around North Carolina, and it's for every age group. So we have programs for 4-year-olds. We work with Guilford County Head Start through Guilford Child Development. We have a program there called Orchestra, and that's all about increasing literacy skills and increasing access to reading material. and increasing musical enthusiasm in 4-year-olds. So we have a percussion ensemble and a storyteller that works with them to read a story out loud. We have a beginning strings program, kind of what you were getting at with teaching children how to actually engage with the instruments themselves. Beginning strings we have at Peck Elementary School, and now we just this year have expanded it to Jones Elementary School. So we work with hundreds of kids at these schools to provide free instruments to them. We maintain the instruments for them, and they get to play them all year long, and they receive instruction from UNCG professors. So we have a relationship with UNCG where they come in and work with the kids every single week to make sure they know, you know, how to rosin the bows and how to actually hold the bows and play the instruments and pluck according, you know, to whatever repertoire they're playing. So I could go on for hours about the education program.
What about the education for older adults?
Yeah, sure, and that is an important part, and one that I think is often sort of overlooked. We have a number of things that we do. So before every classical concert, we have something called preludes, where we have, again, either a UNCG or a Guilford College professor that'll come in before the show in a separate room and talk through the repertoire and play examples, give some motives to listen for in the music and things to think about, give you some context behind the music. And our music director, Dmitry Sikovetsky, and our guest artists usually will come in before the concert and meet with everyone and sort of give some things to listen for. And then we do outreach to a ton of retirement communities all throughout Greensboro and into Kernersville as well, and over into Burlington, trying to perform outreach to that demographic that maybe doesn't necessarily get to come to our concerts. We want to bring it to them.
Well, I'm going to come to you and say, teach me how to do that.
I don't know if you want to come to me in particular, but
Not
we'd be happy to
necessarily.
help you.
Well, thank you so much. Great talking to you.
Nice to speak
and
with
I know
you
you're going
too,
to have a
Sandra.
great season.
Thank you so
Look forward
much.
to it. Well, we've got more. We've got a lot more to come in the next Triad Perspectives. We've got another treat for you, too, coming up in just a minute. But first, that you can watch us every Saturday morning at 10 on Time Warner Cable Channel 69. You can connect with us on social media, like us on Facebook at Triad Perspectives. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at TriadP_NCATJOMC. Watch us on YouTube by searching NC Aggie TV. You can also reach out to us on our website. Well, we want to hear from you. I'd like to know what you think about the show and what would you like to see on the show. Just type blogs.ncat.edu/TV studio. I want to thank all of our guests today and thank you especially for watching. As we leave you today, we want you to enjoy some holiday music from a Viola's Caroline Jones from the Greensboro Symphony.